Welcome to Rubberducky video channel. It's also known as No Crime, No Time. I'm RD Rubberducky, also known as Danny. And I wanted to go over what I have here on the screen, which is a code that was actually published in a newspaper on Sunday, October 30th, 2005 at 1:25 p.m. That would have been 25 hours before Teresa Halbach went missing. Now, what's interesting is even though this code is where we're headed, I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you where I got this code from and how important it is. In 2005, Teresa Halbach went missing on October 31st. But before that happened, October 11th, exactly 20 days prior, IKLP messages began to change the attention from Lacey Peterson to someone else. Tuesday, October 11th, 2005, 6:05 a.m. Thus, in a matter of days, I will return to my old ways. Read the paper. It will happen sooner than later. Tuesday, October 11th, 2005, 6:10 a.m. For if you may have my number, you will enter a permanent slumber. Tuesday, October 11th, 2005, 6:15 a.m. For you and I should meet, only once, never to repeat. It is those of you whom look best when turning blue. Not wise enough to figure my numbers, for which you write proves you're dumber. For now, it is my time to leave. Thus, this is a time you should believe. Now, to prove what I say, I return to my old ways. As the waters become cool, I seek out someone new. That was posted October 11th. October 23rd, 8 days before Teresa Halbach went missing. Subject, judge may rule on life insurance. Today, put my money in a bag. We will play a game. The day before Teresa went missing on October 30th, 2005, this was the post put in the paper to the editor. For if you break the code, then it is you who will know. Then we have what's known as a 7-line code. For now, we will see if you are smart as me. He doesn't post again until the 13th of November, 2005 at 7:25 p.m. And he states, for thee who breaketh the code will be led to my humble abode. November 27th, 2005, 4:27 p.m. For thou say, what I do shocks the world. I laugh at thee, so seek a woman with a man and earl. Okay? So it bothered me that this was posted 25 hours exactly till Teresa went missing. She was 25 years old, so I decided to break the code. It was about 2 years ago that I struck upon a part of the code that was written prior to all of this that gave us the key to the code. And I'm just going to jump right over here and show you that key. The key that was the first code he released was simply this code, 28527-8240-791-947. The first thing that came to me was that there are first 5 digits, then a set of 4 digits, then 3 digits, 2 digits, 1, which is the countdown 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Next, if I took the digits 28527 and I added them, 2 plus 8 plus 5 plus 2 plus 7 plus 7, I got 24. Now with astrology, we only have single digits 1 through 9. When you get to 10, it's switched back to a 1 and we start over. So I took the 24 and I reduced it again, which in this case, you would take the 2 plus the 4, and you would get a 6. I continued the same pattern all the way across, which came up to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 being repeated twice, where you get 55, 10, complete. Now, we take this information and we're going to put it into the alphabet with the same method. So just like when you're a child, I've listed out A through Z. Omega, Alpha, Omega. We've numbered them 1 through 26. However, in astrology, you can only go up to 9. So we do really well until we get to the letter J. The letter J is the 10th letter in the alphabet. We would need to reduce it simply by going 1 plus 0 equals 1. We would reduce 11 from K, which is the 11th letter, by adding 1 plus 1. And if we continue, you will see that again, we're back on track, with the single digits leading all the way up to the letter S. On letter S, we go from a 19. We reduce that by simply saying 1 plus 9 equals 10. But it leaves us with another shift where we need to downsize one more time. We reduce the number by, again, 1 plus 0. And then we're back on track simply by adding the 2 plus the 0 in 20, because T is the 20th letter. We continue the process all along, and we end up on the number 8 for Omega, Z. This is why serial killers are obsessed with the number 8. It is the infinity symbol, and they go by it is the infinity symbol, and astrologically, it is the number of continued loop. And they carry it on through generations from serial killer to serial killer. They speak a hidden language within the astrological charts, and I'm here today to show you how we crack that code. So just keeping in mind that as we do our alphabet, when you get to Z, you will then turn around and start with A. We then can go 1 through 26, ending on Z. When we wish to start again, we would go 27. When we wish to start again, we would return to A, and this now would be 27, and so forth, and you would continue. I've continued till I got to 260 on Z. Now, I would like to take you over to where we've taken those quadrants and we've broke them down for you in an easy way to understand. So the first quadrant, I'm going to show you on PowerPoint, just to keep it simple till you get the hang of it. To start with, I've broken this down on a simple whiteboard on PowerPoint. This is the first line of the code. I've split it in half so that it's large enough for you to view. As you can see, This first set of digits, 2, 3, 3, 4, has 4 placeholders, 4 units, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The next one has 1, 2, 3, followed by 1, 2, followed by 1. And then we get the pattern again, 1, 2, 3, and a 4. So we have 4 digits. We have 3 digits. Whoops. We have 3 digits. We have 2 digits. And we have 1. We get a repetitive code of 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a countdown. In the second half of the code, we get 8 digits. Then we get 2. Then we get 1, 3, 6, and 4. What does all that mean? Well, now you understand how we break this down on one level. We'll jump into our spreadsheet. Here we have our spreadsheet. You can see here, right here, I have the original code. We'll call it quad 1. And we're going to list that code right here with each number having its own little box, just like a present wrapped. In between, where you see these minuses or any symbol, we're going to leave it blank so that we can catch our spacing and understand our placement. So as we discussed, we have 4 digits, we have 3 digits, we have 2 digits, we have 1. We have 4, we have 3, we have 2, 1. 8, 2, 1, 3, 6, 4. Now, let's go look at our alphabet. The first digit we have is the 4th digit in the alphabet. What do we have? A D. So we'll put a D here. Now keep in mind, our original code is 4, 5, 6, and 8. We're going to leave 7 out for now. You'll find out later. If it's a 4 in this placement, the last digit of the count, we'll carry it down. Or if it's a 5, 6, or an 8, we will carry it down. If it is a 2, a 3, or 1, or a 7 or a 9, we won't. We're only going to use the key, which was defined in the Lacy-Peterson IKLP posts. So we indeed have 4 positions, which is the 4th letter in the alphabet is a D. We also carry this number down because it fits our key code. Over here, we have a 2. It does not fit our key code, and we will not carry it down. However, we can count 1, 2, 3. 3. Third letter is a C. Here we have 2. 2 is a B, second letter of the alphabet. Here we have a single digit of 4. It does fit our key code. We will carry it down. We also have 1 digit, which is an A, and hence you get D, C, B, A. Again, we continued this pattern. We got a D, a C, a B. Whoops. We carried this pattern. We got a D, a C, a B, an A. We have a countdown. 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, DCBA, DCBA. Now, as we continued, I knew to leave the 8s alone because they are the alpha and omega. 6s need to be left alone as well. We'll get into that in a minute. So, in this case, the 4 would come down here. And there we go. All right, let's jump over. As we... What is that? 6 equals 43 equals 7. So as we look at the first quadrant, we would have a 4 here. We would bring it down. As we look at our first quadrant right here, we've given each number a box in order for us to break down the mathematics of the situation. There are 4 digits here. So we've put our 4, and the letter 4 in the alphabet is D. In this position, we've noted the key 4568. This is indeed a key number. We'll carry the key numbers down. In this case, we have 342, 3 digits, which the third letter of the alphabet is a C. However, the last placement is not one of our key cards. However, this 2 is not one of our key numbers and will not be carried through. Nor is the 3. However, you have 2 digits, which you get a B. Here you have a single digit for a 1, which is the first letter of the alphabet, A. We do have a key number, which is 4, in its placement. We are going to carry that down. Here we have 4 digits. We put our 4, which is a D. Our last placement is a 6. It is a key number, and we do carry it down. We continue to do this all the way across, and what we end up getting is this spelling here. D-C-B-A. D-C-B-A. B-A-C. B-A-C. This is reversed. This, written reversed, is cab. It also says back. So you have to remember that as we read the rhyming riddles, he promised he was back to his old ways, and that's our first clue, back. Next, as we continued, we get down here and look very closely. We have 8 digits right here, which is an 8 because we leave 8s alone. However, this is a 1. It is not in our key code. We will leave it blank. We have 5 digits. We'll put a 5 here. 5th letter is an E. The 5 is a key number. We can put it down here. We continue along until we get the letter spelt out. We have E, D, C, 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 D, E. Right off the bat, I can see Ed frontwards and backwards. Mirror images. In the middle, we have CCC. You can see it right in here. Why that's important is because of this. On January 7, 1946, 6-year-old Susanna Degnan was discovered missing from her first-floor bedroom in On January 7, 1946, 6-year-old Susanna Degnan was discovered missing from her first-floor bedroom in Edgewater, Chicago. Police found a ladder outside the girl's window and a ransom note. If you look at this ransom note, it says, "For heaven's sake, catch me before I kill more. I cannot control myself. What's interesting is every C is actually an E. In the word catch, you have two C's. The first C is clearly an E, as well as the second. We have the word cannot. The C is an E. Control is also written as a C. So, being that serial killers seem to understand their own language, I felt it was imperative to us to really look if the C's actually stood for E's. And yes, they do, because it clearly says Ed. This is Edwards, Wayne. This is Edward Wayne Edwards. Now, Edward Wayne Edwards would turn his W for Wayne sideways so it was an E, and he would have E, E, E. So right away, I knew this was for sure. But we need to double check some standards and make sure that we have other things in place that match up. Let's do a next quadrant. Following the same pattern that we did before, we get C, 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 B, E, D. Edwards, Wayne, Edwards, B, Ed. Let's go to the fourth quadrant. We have D, E, D, E, D, D. The reflection would be Ed, Ed. In the next quadrant, we have D, D, E, 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 I. Now that's different. Now let's look at the E, E, E and close it out. We are left with D, D, I. D, I, D is what came up. So D-I-D could mean the word did. If you put the word D-I-D, remember, he doesn't count consecutively. He jumps. So that's why you have to unscramble the letters. What you have is I, Edward, Wayne, Edwards, did. Did what? Well, you get to this quadrant, quadrant 6. You get 3 E's. You get E, E, E. Again, Edward, Wayne, Edwards. Did what? D-G. He had killed his stepson, Danny, D-A-N-N-I-E, spelt the same as my name, actually. And his last name started with a G. And you get it frontwards and backwards. And then you have Ed. What did he do to Danny G? Dead. D-E-D, dead. It's also Ed, as in this way, and Ed this way. So that would be astonishing if that was all there was. But that's just the first. That would be astonishing if this is all there was. But that's only one level of many. So let's review what we have so far. Back and cab. Ed, Edwards, Wayne, Edwards, Ed. E, 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 B, Ed. E, 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 B, Ed. Ed, Ed, D, D. And here we have I, Edward, Wayne, Edwards, did. DG, dead. Okay, now we're going to go up to the top part of this triangulation of coding. And in this, you're simply going to add per section what the digits are. Our first is 2,334. So we'll put our equal. 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 for reduction. You get a 12. When you need to reduce that to single digits, you're going to go 1 plus 2. You get a 3. You will carry your 3 up as it is single digit. You're going to do the same for this. 342. 3 plus 4 plus 2. And we get a 9. That's a single digit, carry it up. 2 plus 3 is 5. This is a single digit, 4. At the very top, you can see I've added this together and got a 12, added the 5 and the 9 and got, or 5 and the, I've added the 5 and the 4 and got a 9. I've added the 2 and the 5 and got a 7, and so forth. What's interesting is I decided to add the entire columns all the way down per quadrant. I got 70, 70, and 70, which I should because they're all the same numbers. However, I got 169 for this column, this row. However, I got 169 for this row. And the main quadrant row, I got 169. For the count digits per section, I got a 44. For the letters, I couldn't count the letters, but I counted the 6 and the 8s, and I got 14. And the total for this bottom row, which is the key numbers, was 43. Now, I added this up. It came to 649. I then broke these numbers down further from 3 digits to make sure everything was in smaller digits. I got 7, 7, 7, 16, 16. So now, when you look at this section, after adding that all up, each row was added individually. I then reduced the number. We left it at 70, but 7 plus 0 is 7. 70 again would be 7. Again, 7. But when you get to 169, let's do the math. 1 plus 6 plus 9. What do you get? 16. Well, 1 plus 6, again, 7. When you get to 44, you'll actually get 8 because 4 plus 4 is 8. When you get to this, 14, 1 plus 4 is 5. When you get to that number, 43, you have to remember, it goes like this. So when you get to this column here, I've reduced the numbers. Okay. When you get to this column, you can see that I have reduced the numbers from 70 to get it into a reduced number of singularity. When you get to this column, you will realize that I have taken 70 to reduce it down to singularity. So 7 plus 0 is 7 carried across. Continued that for the 3 rows, it equaled 70. When you get to 169, I simply add 1 plus 6 plus 9. And you'll get a 16. To further reduce 16, you go equals 1 plus 6. And again, you have 7. 44 reduced to 8. 14 reduced to 5. 43 reduced to 7. And as you can see, this column added up to 649. When I add up 649, I would go 6 plus 4 plus 9. I would get a 19. When you add this up, you get a 1 plus 9, and you have a 10. And 10 plus 0 is 1. Let's try this column. When you add this up, you get a 73. 7 plus, when you add up this column, it totals 73. Let's add that. 7 plus 3. What do you get? A 10 equals 1 plus 0, a 1. Let's try the next column. This column adds up to 5. Let's try this column. This column adds up to 55. When I add up 55, I go 5 plus 5. Again, I get a 10. When I go 1 plus 0, I get a 1. And out here, I get a 3. Now, that would hold true to all of the quadrants if it actually works. Let's check it out. We have 111, 999, 333, 333, 999, 888, and 10, which reduces to 111, a 3. Interesting enough, the 888 is the only one, if you notice, that is out of sync with the odd numbers. It's the only even number in the entire thing. We go 111, even when we start off with 649, 73, 55, we get our 111. We've got 711, 54, and 54, we get 999. We get 696, 66, and 39, we still get 333. 732, 84, and 39, reduced to 333. 576, 72, and 54, reduced to 999. And this, 746, 71, 26, reduced to 888. Yes, which reduces to a 6. See? So this is where he's hung up on the 8 and the 6. It doesn't fit within the divine plan, but yet it is the divine plan because it's an infinity symbol, and he's associated the 8 within his name. Now, let's go over and really look at this. I did see that I had a letter off. I did make a correction on the letter just to make sure that we're correct. I want to look up this 43 with you. The 43rd letter of the alphabet, yes, is Q. So we're going to bring the Q over here. Just hang on to it because it's going to be important later. So I noticed this word right away, MPG. I don't know if it means anything, but it could mean miles per gallon. I don't know. The word her could easily come out of that because we have H, we have R-H-E. And like I said, he counts differently. We have the word gone down here, which is quite interesting. But what caught my eye the most is why you need he. What caught my eye, okay, let me back up. So once I had broke this down, and I could see that the pattern was locked in, that we did have it correct, I then associated what letters were these numbers. And with that, I thought we'd start off with the first letter, which is 70. Let's refer back to this big code where we've looped the alphabet. Let's refer back to this code where we've looped the alphabet. If you look here, 70 follows that it would be an R. So we'll put an R here. A 7 is a G, so we have 2 G's, and so forth. And I filled out even all the way through 169. Let's look at 169. 169 would be an M. Let's go over. And as you can see, I've got it there as an M. Following this, these are the words that I was able to unscramble. Her, Q, gone. What's interesting is this one blew my mind. It says, why you need ed. Then I saw the word he. Elect. That's all I can come up with for here, you guys. And again, we have the word her. I do see the word end, E-N-D. I also see the word fire, F-I-R-E. Again, in the same pattern that he likes to count. Down here, I'm going with W. I'm sorry. Here I'm going with W-R-H-E-E. But you could look at it as W-H-E-R-E. Where? And as you notice, a lot of these letters that I'm choosing are the key numbers. So for instance, her is within the red numbers, the 8s and the 5s, which do key up. Again, the 5 is within our key number, and we have the word gone. The G is out of it, so this is maybe 1. I don't know. But I did find that it was interesting. All these numbers panned out as red. So we were able to search through here when we got why you need ed, and the word he. And then elect and her. Now elect is not in that red part, so that might need to be removed. I'll let you decide. Over here, we have end and fire within that realm. Now I did notice that the last row does seem to be used sometimes, even though it's not a key number. When we got to where, this blew my mind. There were no key numbers in this other than 33, 3333333. This is the master number. Master numbers are different. They cannot be divided. So 3 through 3s, they don't get reduced. In that, I could clearly see LLC and JBA. JBA LLC. I looked up JBA LLC in Manitowoc, and I was given the location of 4320. Interesting, it counts back, almost like our code, huh? 4320. Yeah. It's located a place called JBA Precision LLC is located right next to County Road JJ, where Zellner and myself had Teresa Hallbach's phone number, had Teresa Hallbach's cell phone pinged last. Let me show that to you. There are 2 locations for JB Precision near Manitowoc. We're going to take this 4320 Michigan Avenue. This is a machine shop, and interesting enough, it locates it Interesting enough, when I put in Avery's Auto Salvage, we have 2 ways to get to it. We can take Fisherville Road, and we can get right there, or we can switch this road and take the Larrabee route. Interesting enough, when I put in Avery Salvage Yard, it shows two different ways to get there. You can turn left and go toward Larrabee, but you can also drop down on this road and it will take you to Q, Kingsbridge, and drive you right to JB Precision. Let's look at this a little bit closer. If you left towards Larrabee, you would be on Highway Q, just like we thought, which Highway Q leads right down here. And where are we? Cuss Road. Now look. If we continue down Q, we'll hit Fisherville Road, which is where we had Bobby's phone ping. If you continue, you'll go to Cherney Road, which we heard about that in the Casso. It's also known as Q. We would cross the West Twin River. Look here, you guys. We would go across V. We would travel 27 miles. We would take Highway 310. And we would be on North Rapids Road. We would go through Kellner's Corners. We would end up right here on County Road JJ next to JB Precision LLC. Let's jump back over to the code. What do we have? LLC, JBA. Let's look at the code a whole nother way. We're going to close this section so that we're not too confused by what we have worked on. We'll just hide that part for now. Another way to look at this is we have a repetitive use of 9 digits, 1 through 9. So number 1, number 2, 3, 4, and so forth till we get to 9. I counted in the first quadrant how many times 1 appeared in the code. 1 time. 2 appears 4. 3 appears 10 times. 4 appears 13, and so forth. I then reduced the number, 1 being 1, 4 being 4. But as usual, 10 plus 10. But as usual, when you get to a 10, you're simply going to go 1 plus 0 to get a 1. At 13, you're going to go 1 plus 3 to get your 4, and so forth. And I continued that through every quadrant. Now let's go back up to the top. What came out of it was this. The key card, what came out of it was this. The key numbers 4, 5, 6, and 8 repetitively mattered. Here's how. In those numbers, I would find hidden messages such as Ed, Ace. There would always be a set number of placements. So with Ed, you've got the D, plus 2 is the E, plus 3 is the C, plus the A is 4. 4 placements equals a D. We continue to the second one. We have an H, an E, an A, and a C. You get each. Or you could look at it as this as well, because in the red is E, and you could just ignore this here completely. And in that case, you would then have E, E, and C again, which is his signature. Continuing on, we can continue to do this. We get add 1 dig, as well as other messages about Ed Ace, and a cab. It's interesting that also to note that for every placement that I did through here, I would end up with a certain number. Like there was 4 placements used to spell out the message. Here again, 4. Here, 3. The next quadrant was also 3. Then I got a 5, and then I got a 6, which totaled 29, which totaled 11. Also interesting was that over here, I would add this up, and I get the number 36, which means 3 plus 6 is 9. I add this column, and I get 41. 4 plus 1 is 5. If I add this column, I get 34. 3 plus 4 equals 7. Again, 43. 4 plus 3 equals 7. Down here, 27, which equals 2 plus 7 is a 9. When I total that column, all the way up and down, those dark blue numbers there, or dark blue squares, you got it. It filters down, reduces down to 45, which 4 plus 5 is a 9. Over here you have 11, 9, 11. Reversed is 11, 9. 9, 11 is when Steve Avery was released from prison. 11, 9 is when he was rearrested. Now, I want to take you to this PowerPoint, which brought this all together for me. Before I go any further and show you why 911 is so important, and for those numbers to end up, I wanted to show you what this actually said. So we have MPG possibly. We have the word her. We have Q. What highway? Q. Look at our map. Where are we? Highway Q. The whole way. Q, Q, Q. That's why the Q is there. Now, let's get back into the code. So, miles per gallon, her Q. So I'm guessing she drove highway Q. It says gone. And then it says, why you need Ed. He elect her end. Fire. Where? JBA LLC. And it completes the cycle here, and it starts the cycle off complete. I really find this remarkable that we can add up digits this way, such as 649, 73, 55, and reduce to ones and a 3. 711, 54, 54 is 999, reduces to a 9. 696, 66, and 39, all reduced to a 9. 732, 84, 39, reduces to 333, another 9. 576, 72, 54, all reduces to a 9. To 27, reduces to a 9. 746, 71, 26, all individually add up to 8, which is 24, and reduces to a 6. Where? The 6, right? Here we go. And what do we end with? The same thing we started with, the 10 to 1, because 1 plus 0 is 1. And what do you get? What you started with. A completed cycle. Now, S, V, X, and Z were never used in any of this alphabet code. I find it interesting that it does quote the code 468 again. Plus it gives you a 1 for an S. This totals 19. 1 plus 9 is 10. Again, complete. Now, I'm ready to jump over to a whole new way of thinking. So we have 9, 11, 11, 9. Let's jump over to this program, and I'll show you what's up with that. On 10/31/2005, Teresa Halbach went missing, and Carmen Botwell was never heard from again. It's now, tomorrow, 10/31/2020. It will be exactly 15 years to the date that the girls were never seen from again. Today's date, however, corresponds exactly 15 years to when the code was produced. On the 31st of 2020, we have a blue moon. It's a hunter's moon. It's a harvest moon. And it's universal magic. And it brings restoration of justice as we move into Aquarius. I come up with this code on the 20th, on the 23rd of October for some reason. I don't know. I just rely on divine intuition, and it brought me the code. Universal case, or Avery case universal code. I showed this before to my channel because it seemed to ring true, and I didn't know how close I was to breaking the serial killer code. So 1, 3, 7, and 9 seem to align correctly as prime, not really prime numbers. Let's get that out of there. Avery case universal code. Avery case universal code. 3, 7, and 9 are correct alignment. Out of alignment seems to be the 4, 5, 6, and 8. 2 is decision. So this is where I found there be the code. And it was confirmed when I showed you earlier how we got to 4, 5, 6, and 8 through the Laci Peterson IKLP posts. Interesting enough, I show you here, days before I understood the code completely, how you break down to reduction, whereas 10/23/2020 breaks down to a 1. The entire date breaks down to 1, which is the beginning of a new cycle. In numerology, what I found interesting was we have an 11-day period between. In numerology, what I found interesting was on 10/20/2020, we had 11 days exactly till 10/31/2020. 10/20/2020 is astronomically a very big number. The symbolism is beyond understanding. Now, if you think about it, 10/31/2005 are where the victims go missing. 11/11/2005 is when Stephen is charged with her homicide, exactly 11 days apart. And that's what I'm talking about. We have the symbolism here of 10/20/2020 when this epiphany came in to break the code. That's representing the past, and that reduces to a 7. If you look over here, representing the future is 10/31/20, which reduces to a 9. Okay? Let's look a little deeper. Stephen Avery was released on 9/11 from prison in 2003. He was arrested again on 11/9 on a firearm charge. So if you compare the two numbers, we have 9/11, 11/9. We have mirror images. Let's look at that number a little more detailed. Stephen's release date could also be looked at as 9 plus 11 and reducing to a 20. We'll bring that 20 here. 11/9, so we have 11 plus 9 is 20. What does it do? It brings us to 2020. Divine timing. Stephen's release date from prison could also be looked at as an 11/11 code. Here's how that would work. The 0 and the 9 would reduce to a 9. In this case, you would need to reduce a master number to complete it, which would reduce 1 plus 1 equaling 2, and 9 plus 2 equals 11. And there's your 11. Again, over here, the 11 would need to be reduced to a 2. The 9 comes down to add to the 2. You have 11. And there you have it, 11/11. When you look at original crime date of 10/31/2005, it reduces to a 3. The 15-year anniversary of the crime date reduces to a 9, which reduces overall to a 3. Remember how I said 3s were important? Here we go. Both TH and CB never seen again on October 31st, 2005. On the Dassey landline, we receive a call at exactly 11:43 a.m. When I reduce the date, I get a 3. When I reduce the time, I get a 9, which reduces to 3. We're going to go backward and look. The original crime date was 393. And again, here we go with the voicemail. We get the 393. Let's look at another date. Both girls are never seen again and have their anniversary date on the 3rd of November, 3 and 9. So here we have the day they go missing, never seen again. Here, this is when they're announced dead, 11/3. and the anniversary date. Again, 3, 9, and 3. Here we go again. RAV4 reported seized. The date, 11/3/2005, reduces to a 9. 15-year anniversary reduces to a 9, which reduces to a 3. Everything seems aligned so far. Let's try another. Both TH and CB, never seen again. We've done that number. And now the anniversary date of it is also a 9, and we get a 3. Let's look at when LE stopped the field investigation after claiming they found their first bone. According to Casso, 11/12/2005. Yep, reduces to a 3. 15th anniversary reduces to a 9. 9 and 3 is 3. However, when we compare when the RAV was seized versus when Pam Sturm says she found it, we find conflict because the RAV4 was seized, according to paperwork, 11/3/2005 with a 3 as a reduction. So when we look at the RAV4 when it was actually seized according to paperwork, we get an aligned number of 3. However, when we look at 11/5/2005, when we look at 11/05/2005, when Pam Sturm allegedly found the RAV, we get our first out-of-sync number. I do not believe it is a true event. Let's look at another number. Stephen was charged with homicide, 11/11/2005. It reduces to a 2. A 2 is a conflict number. I don't believe that Stephen actually committed the homicide. The anniversary date does not pan out either. It gives me an 8. When I look at the radio silence day of rest, which is 11/13/2005, it's a day where none of the radios worked. All law enforcement pulled out of the Hallbox, pulled off the Avery property, and closed up all field research and investigation. They went back to shop and they claim they did nothing on the 13th, that it was just a day of rest. But there are no records, not even of normal affairs that took place. No dispatch records, nothing. It downsizes and reduces to a 4. I don't believe that that is true, that it is a day of rest. 4 is a foundation number, which means planning, setting up the foundation. The 15-year anniversary shows me it's coming to a close. It's a 10-1, cycle closing with a new beginning. I do feel we're going to learn quite a bit about this day of rest. Overall, looking at Stephen's release from prison, he gets a 7. Overall, being arrested for a firearm, which you can buy a license even though you're a felon. You can honestly give your tag away and somebody else can fill your tag and supply you with meat. You just can't hunt with the gun. Nor can you have a gun, nor can you be in possession of a gun. So this legitimately was a true firearm charge, and we have it aligned. But when he's charged with homicide, we get a 2 of conflict. Interesting enough, I thought we'd go a little deeper in the theory of the dates. So let's look at the Psychic Code. I broke it down. I won't get into all the details, but let's go down here. Sikikey. The S is the 19th letter. The I is 9. K is 11. 9, 11. 5 is E. And the 25th letter is the Y. Let's do our common reduction. 1 plus 9 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. We'll carry the 9 down. Master numbers are not reduced. 9, 11, 5, 7. What do we find in the middle? 911, 911, 2020. The only numbers not used was 1, 5, 7. Key. 157 is somehow a key. It also spells the word age. So interesting. I will leave you with that. We will add this up. It totals a 13, which equals a 4. Not that that matters, but it could be the rest of the digits if there was more to the key. But 157, or you might look at it as 1715. Interesting. Could be the beginning of the prefix 715. I don't know. I do know that the key is broken. You can use this key to dig in all you want. The code is here. It's right here. We have the word dig, which I find interesting right here. Dig. We have the word add right here. We have ace right here. And we have Edwards all over this. Now, let's dig in a little bit deeper into what bothered me on the Sikiki note the most. Is this E and this G are out of place. And what came to mind was, my intuition said evergreen. I don't know why, but I went over and I looked up evergreen. And when I did, so I went over and I looked up evergreen serial killer, and Ted Bundy picked up. Now, he would have been long dead, but Ed Edwards liked to mock other serial killers. It turns out that we do have evergreen with Ted Bundy, and we have a very specific date, all right? So I looked up evergreen because I thought E.G., serial killer. I thought maybe Ed Gein would come up, but it didn't. Actually, Ted Bundy came up, who's been dead for years. But I found this very interesting. During the first half of 1974, female college students disappeared at the rate of about one per month. On March 12th, 1974, Donna Gail Manson, a 19-year-old student at the Evergreen State College in Olympia, 60 miles southwest of Seattle, left her dormitory to attend a jazz concert on campus, but never arrived. This girl had been murdered, and guess how she was murdered? Ted Bundy posed as a police officer, handcuffed her to the steering wheel, and bludgeoned her to death. Now think about the Steve Avery case and how Teresa was said to have possibly been murdered according to Zellner. Think of being pulled over by somebody in a police car. They walk over. You're going to roll your window down. If they slap the handcuffs on you and pull you out of the vehicle to the back and bludgeon you, there's your crime scene right there. What's interesting is at the end of Cuss Road, we have a cop car. It looks abandoned, doesn't it? And it just so happens that's the same kind of cop car that the battery is found in the Blue Raft. Is it possible that Ed Edwards led Teresa down Cuss Road, had her pull over, had her step out to the back of the vehicle with handcuffs, and bludgeoned her? He claims to remove the heads from his victims quite often. When you look at Cuss Road and that body bag, if the head was removed, it might work. We have no teeth in this case. Was the head removed? That's the questions I have for you. Interesting enough, Ed Edwards always liked to frame people like he did in the Scott Peterson case for the Laci Peterson murder. We've now cracked the code. It's up to you guys how we handle this. Going forward, remember, I'm up for hire. I can crack codes, I'm a good researcher, and I've got amazing intuition. Let's look at this date to see if all serial killers use the same kind of code. So let's just take this March 12th, 1974, and let's plug it in and see what we get for a reduction code. We would have March, we would have 12, we would have 1974, correct? We reduce the 3 to a 3. We reduce the 1 plus the 2 to a 3. We reduce the 1 plus the 9 plus the 7 plus a 4 is 21. Let's add the 2 plus the 1. What do you get? You get 333. See, I believe that serial killers are using astrology and the reduction of these numbers to elude the police officers. So it's very possible you can now take my code that I give to you and break many, many cold cases based on this code, because you now can plan where they're figuring out their victims. They're using numbers and dates to say that this is a divine highlight to them. They're using this coding to pick their victims. It's true. And that's what I have for you. It is interesting just to note, for a little note on the end here, that Debbie Harris from the band Blondie claimed she was almost murdered by Ted Bundy in what she called a yellow cab. He owned a yellow Volkswagen. She claimed she couldn't get a cab. He pulled up. She got into the vehicle. Interesting enough, it was noted that in 1972, Debbie Harris from the band Blondie. Interesting to note before I go, in 1972, Debbie Harry from the band Blondie admits to this day she believes Ted Bundy tried to kidnap her. She was in the vehicle, the window wasn't rolled up all the way. She had not been able to retrieve a cab. She claims Ted Bundy pulled up, she got in the vehicle, and the vehicle been stripped, including the inside handles to work the door. The window was down, she clicked it open and rolled out of the vehicle. Later, to much of her surprise, she saw a picture of Ted Bundy and recognized him to be the one that had almost kidnapped her. And interesting enough, what do we have in our code? The word cab right there. Interesting enough, you ask, how would Ed Edwards get a cop car? A police car. Well, Manitowoc was facing $36 million worth of debt. How did he get a police car? According to Cameron, he and Edwards began exchanging letters, and the theories started to snowball. Cameron quit his job with the state's parole board. Rather than give up the investigation no one else would touch. He believes law enforcement didn't investigate Edwards any further because the serial killer was an informant, he claims, and he made friends with police in every city he visited. All right, Miss Zellner, that's all I have for you for now, and I hope you'll contact me. I could be a huge asset in cracking codes and helping you through other cases. I have been very diligent in my work for the Steve Avery case, and I propose to you that the actual killer was Ed Edwards, who was given or left a police car that he used to pull Teresa Halbach over, and just as Ted Bundy had done, he posed as a police officer, and he bludgeoned her to death outside of her vehicle. I believe he beheaded her and kept her head. I believe he deposited her body on Cuss Road, right off cue. I believe he continued, and he took that vehicle and the phone all the way to Highway JJ, and I believe he left it on the 3rd of November, or before, right at the crossroads that we saw it seized at on 11/3, and I believe the police continued to frame Steve Avery knowing that it was Ed Edwards. I say the law enforcement. I believe law enforcement used and worked with Ed Edwards to frame Stephen Avery. Thank you for your time. I hope to hear from you. You can email me at rubberducky2005@yahoo.com. Thank you so much for your time, and it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. It has been so many years that I've worked on this case from the very beginning. And to come to a conclusion like this, it brought some resolution for me to know that this case is basically closed. I close with the last words of what I will close this video with some of the readings that caught my eye about IKLP posts. Laci Peterson's head and hands are not in the bay, but no one will ever find them. My thanks to Scott Peterson for taking the rap for me. Who cares about her forearms, foot, or leg? I got her head. I look into her eyes every night. Jealous, are you? I only like head. Where do you live, little girl? Have we met? Have we met yet? Here, he speaks about hair. Show a way for Laci hair, you will see. Then again, he says, I am smart. I have her hair. Yes, this is September 4th, 2005, a full month, almost 2 months prior to Teresa missing. 2 months prior to Teresa going missing, September 4th, 2005. He writes, I have her hair. This may be an HM. 2 months prior to Teresa going missing, on Sunday, September 4th, 2005 at 1:20 a.m. He writes, I have her hair. He seems to be very interested in hair as this killer. I find it interesting that they were very concerned about what had happened to her head. What did you do to her head when this killer is stating that he removed Laci Peterson's head? And that could be his MO. He goes on to say, Saturday, October 8, 2005 at 6:55 a.m. I say it before, I say it again. None of you know where I have been. As I prowl before my next date, I promise soon for those who cannot wait. Only if you find I who did the wife, for then you can recover the knife. Those who fail to look outside Modesto, open the right eye and gaze to Fresno. Ah, the killing, when blood is spilling, the highlight of any mortal life, strangle and stab, then take a bite. I laugh at the media fools, they did pass by the zoo, visit the son who pays for my crime, freed when they admit the victim was mine. May not barely rhyme, but not I doing the time, smarter than you, who plays the fool. As to me, should you ever guess, it is only then you will know the rest. If it was a frame, my presence must drive them insane. Roses are red, violets are blue, Laci is dead, I know it wasn't you. Modesto, not a crime spree, yet still I run free. For the name, look at the same, a clue that will lead you to me. All depends on what you do. You, who have a phone, call if you do not want to die alone. For lions and tigers sit by the gate, life taken a matter of my fate. Should you live in fear, on the chance I will appear, knock on the door, end up on the ocean floor. For if you pass a test, no, I will never confess, for catching me is so hard, unless you play the right cards. For here is a clue, for who remain on my list, 28527-8240-791-94-7. Though is smart who deciphers this, for holidays I do take. Is no wonder you know not Lacy or her fate. I believe the cards he was referring to is astrology with tarot cards, because that's how I cracked this case. He does write, he goes on to say, Monday, October 10th, 2005, 6:36 p.m. Roses are red, violets are blue, Lacy is dead, I know it wasn't you. My birthday should be of no concern, but she who comes before me will burn. For you spend your time to mock while the clock goes tick-tick, while the clock goes tick-tock. Thus, in a matter of days, I will return to my old ways. Read the paper. It will happen sooner than later. October 23rd, 2005, he wrote, For one was smart enough to figure out this stuff. For now, this is done. You know who is the one. For the clue is the missing piece. Was never released by the police. For I make no threats to those who do not believe, only regrets. For it is said every dog has its day, a beautiful sight looking at the bay. For you are such fools, not even close to cool. It is 9, come here, my little birdie. It is not the time of day, rather when I will have my way. No wonder I wander free, while Scott does time F. For you sound upset, yet we never met, a kiss to make her cry, such a rush before a last sigh. Wasn't there that movie, Kiss the Girls and Make 'em Cry, that Dr. Silkman talked about? That was interesting. There's so much here, you guys. It says, for an answer you seek, I shall make complete. Need not see the bay for the skull every day. For you say marrow bone recipe. If you are the base, will you believe? For I see everything as we are filing, as we have our fling. Blind is not me. Do it again when it is you who will not see. He goes on to say on November 1st, 2005 at 10:36 a.m., trick or treat, give me someone good to eat. For you think you know, but it is not so. For you make a threat. The truth made a stupid bet. For this is not about Scott. It is about what is not in the plot. Scott now wears his justice bracelets. For what he not deserves, he gets. Hi-ho, it is off to gloat I go. For what I gloat you will soon know. This is on the first. For the streets I walk, you hear no talk. For the streets I walk, you hear no talk. If you appear near, I will be fear. For listen to me, son, none will say they won. For he who makes me a threat, from the gods he will face regret. For as I see no response, none understand my wants. Those who claim to be bright, unable to figure out what is in plain sight. For each day, as I travel my way, I play the tape of what they say. Sitting in a cell by the bay, does it seem longer each day? For so true, if you only knew, for vacation is a day, who visits the bay. For I have a job, though it makes some sob. Would you like to see? Come visit with me. Do not ban me, please, for I promise not to tease. I found an image of me for all of you to see. Remember how white the teeth, for you to see if we meet. For I see thou not respond to thee which knows of great beyond, for the image of which you see be the image of who I be. For while I dwell upon this case, thou moved on to others in a different place. For the reason I stay away is thou shalt decide when it is time to play. You and I will not meet today, for I just play by the bay. For you call me names, claim it is me who is not to blame. For thee seeks no fortune and fame, though the words you speak are by thee lame. I return for your love, let me join your club, for nobody which to keep. On November, this is interesting, he says, interesting enough, he says, Sunday, November 6, 2005, 8:51 a.m. For you may call me names, claim it is me who is not to blame. For thee seeks no fortune and fame, thou the words you speak are by thee lame. I return for your love, let me join your club, for nobody which to keep, gone before it would begin to sleep. That was November 6th. For if which you said was true, on the screen I gaze back at you, for you search both near and far, thee not look to the back of a car. For bump it happened in the middle of the night, then once more is when all turned bright. For I see thou not respond to thee which knows of the great beyond. For the image of which you see be the image of who I be. For while you dwell upon this case, thou moved on to others in different place. For the reason I stay away is thou, it just goes on and on. He does say, November 6, 2005, 10:39 a.m. For I am more intelligent than all. I laugh at who are unable to call. My code is so easy. Hurry up and get busy. For if you want to talk, my code holds the number you sought. For it is so very clear. Who do you see in the mirror? For it is no phone. Direction you take is blown. Your only scam, having the wrong man. For the stars come out at night, not when I set out on my plight. See, new moon. For I will not flash. See not my bare ass. For you look into my eye. You see I am not high. No amount of restraint. They all must feel pain. For here is a clue you may never knew. Can you guess before I am through? For there was nothing to say. It is I who had my way. For I say it once, only now I say it twice. For though who are not so nice, I know not why I give advice. For which I keep, once had head lice. Should you recall about the jaw? Look down inside, too. Thou you have reached out to me, for it is I that does not trust thee. For you know not what I say. You will hear if I pass my way. Yeah. For as if you enter the exit ramp, the more you spin with the wrong vamp. Another book I will fear, for thee idiot not even near. Thou vacation about to end, for time is now to fend. For I see the tears, time to shop for what is dear. Smoke gets in your eyes, for if you believe the police lies. For thee who breaketh the code will be led to my humble abode. For if you only knew, thou would know I am not through. For it is you who has not seen. The clues I leave tell what I mean. For you may laugh and make fun, but trust the words I am not done. It be not the meek thou might seek. It be those who seek which thee finds meek. For the river which flows west, when it rains, this is the best. For thou only awaits the book, so thee may burn which turned to soot. For provided thee with the place of the nut, thou shalt find itself with the toasted butt. For proof sent to those in doubt, when possessed they will surely shout. Thee who are realized as the bee, for why thee not publicly address me? For if thou is a male, let us meet for some ale. For if thou is a female, let us meet for some other tale. For chestnuts roast over an open fire. On the Xmas day, thou wilt preach to a different choir. For the only secrets to be revealed, hidden as long as those lips are sealed. For I appeal to thee, praise the success of me. For I thee learn to ask nicely of me, answers you seek, you might see. For if thou learnst to speak in a civil tongue, thou might learn to answer to question 1. For if you walk the path which leads to door, stop at the 3rd slap and find a tooth and more. Wow. For with no clue, ramble as a fool. For I say to those who mock the word, remember from thee all thou hast heard. As it was in the beginning, it will be the end. My words of today will be found in a den. For it was a slap across your face, though not a tap. For those of you who are dumb, not know my name until I come. For what is next will prove I am the best. For you may ask as long as you are nice. Yeah, here we go again. I mean, it goes on for days and days. You guys dig into this. All right, that's what I have for you. Thank you, everybody. Show your support. Show me some love so I can buy some groceries. Thank you. Bye.